Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I just got done taking my 6-year-old to HIT. And I'll tell you a funny story. The other day, we had like bad weather around here, and down at the park where I was taking my kids, I was going to take them to HIT, and this bad storm came through, and I didn't realize it, but the storm, I guess a tornado was close to where they were going to hit, and just knocked out trees, topped off trees, and did all kinds of craziness. So I went around the park, and there was police blocking it off at about 3 of the 4 corners to get to the park. So I just parked and walked them in there, and it was literally right after all this storm had come through. And somebody walked down there that we have played baseball with, and they were just walking around checking out the damage. And the guy sees us in the cage, and he's like, "You got to be kidding me." And I told my son, that's how legends are made right there. He'll go and tell 5 people about that, and before long, you're the kid who's been hitting in a tornado. You practice hitting even when there's a tornado actually on the ground. That's how those kind of stories get eventually passed on and turned into something that they weren't. I told my son, that's a good thing. Okay, from X-Men XRP at XRP33. I got a lot of really interesting things here for you today. The first thing is this: U.S. SEC and FINRA to discuss digital assets and cybersecurity at National Compliance Outreach Program for broker-dealers. Now, I'm not going to go into this article. I'm going to just say one thing about it, and that is, this is the kind of common sense type thing that these governments need to be doing, is get all of these regulatory bodies. Here's an idea. How about you get the SEC and the Congress and the IRS and FINRA and everybody that has any kind of decision-making stake in this game, digital assets, get in one room, get all of your geniuses in one room, and put it on paper, get the ideas all together about what needs to be done, and do it. And quit beating around the bush and everybody trying all this bureaucratic mess, and get it done. That's the problem that you always have with government, is it's the same old bureaucratic BS, and it can easily be handled. That's why a lot of times businessmen, people who have liabilities and they're used to having to meet deadlines and things like that, are so much better at running things than some of these government institutions. But anyway, there's my 2 cents. Okay, moving along. For crypto-XRP, at crypto_-XRP, Montana County adopts regulation requiring crypto miners to use renewable energy. Now, I think that speaks for itself as well. But the main point is that this proof of work thing just keeps, and I'm going to show you in a minute a bigger example of this. This proof of work thing ain't working, folks. This is a big problem, and it's a problem from several angles. And I believe that Bitcoin is the only one that will survive, and only because it was the first. And I think that they'll intentionally, I think they're getting rid of a lot of these forks right now, trying to get rid of them so that they can beef up Bitcoin and then it can survive. And I'll bet you don't ever see a proof of work again after that. Okay, moving along. From Crypto Utility Guy at Utility Guy 7 sent me this. And I just wanted you to see this quote from Mike Novogratz. This is Bloomberg Crypto. It may take a few years, but we should begin to see Bitcoin as an asset class like gold or equities, Novogratz says. And he's right, I believe. I believe Bitcoin is going to be the only one to survive, like I just said. Okay, next. This is from Brian Melancholy XRP at Mike Honcho _11. And he sent me this. like I've said before, I don't think I cover XRP Darren enough. The guy really puts out some good information, and I'm going to try to start featuring him more. I don't know where he finds this stuff, but he's finding some good stuff. This is at Fame21More is how you can follow him. Now look at the wrong slide. I want to show you the other one first so you can see who we're talking about. This is a presentation by Jess Yang, Washington, D.C., September 27, 2018. He's an attorney for IMF Legal Department. Okay, so go back to this now. It's talking about other DLT-based approaches, DLT-based automated process like Interledger Protocol, that's Ripple, and Corda, which Ripple is partnered with, or Corda is the platform of R3, which Ripple is partnered with. Corda Settler uses XRP for settlements. Crypto assets as a bridging tool. They're showing the Alpha Corporation. Let me see. I'm going to get this going. Alpha Corporation, Alpha to Alpha Bank, then to Beta Bank, then to Beta Corporation. And they're say crypto assets as a bridging tool. Now, what better crypto asset than XRP is used for a bridging tool? And then DLT and cross-border payments. But this is just, something the IMF just keeps on popping up. It just keeps popping up in the same sentence with digital assets, bridge currency, crypto asset. IMF, Ripple, XRP, IMF keeps popping up. And it's for a reason, folks. Okay, Sergeant Obi-Wan. Now this is going to fascinate you. If I owned a bunch of proof of work digital assets and I read this article, it would freak me out. And I'll tell you why. This is from Sergeant Obi-Wan. 51% attacks on crypto becoming more expensive again. Not for everyone. It's coming, not a matter of if, but when. Once it happens, POW coins will falter. And here's the article, folks. I want to show you what they did here. Here's how the theoretical costs of a 1-hour attack has changed for some proof of work coins. Okay? The 51% attack, this is Bitcoin Cash, 51% attack cost. December 2018, it would have cost $7,896. April 2019, $22,322. Litecoin, December 2018, $18,203. April 2019, $50,000. Ethereum Classic, $4,008. 2019, $6,317. I don't even know what metaverse is, but Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin. 2018, $275,613. April 2019, $375,502. Folks, here's my question. If you had an idea and you were China or some bad rogue country, let's say Iran, China, or it could be another country, Saudi Arabia, any country that wanted to cause mass chaos in the Bitcoin markets or tank Bitcoin and went out and shorted Bitcoin for a huge sum of money, what would $375,000 be if they have, this says, let me see, I think this said for 1 hour attack. Let's say that somebody wanted to really go at it and they wanted to attack Bitcoin for 5 hours, 5 times 375, whatever that is. Do you think that's any amount of money at all for someone like China if they had shorted Bitcoin enough with a large enough amount of money? They could make a fortune. That would terrify me. Especially if I'm an owner of these smaller ones. Terrify me. And it should, and they don't want to talk about it either. Okay, I didn't mean that. This is what I wanted to show you. XRP Crypto Wolf. Coinbase expands crypto to crypto conversions and trading to 11 more countries. Customers in Argentina, Mexico, Peru, Colombia, Chile, India, Hong Kong, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, and New Zealand can access crypto-to-crypto exchanging service. That is pretty good, folks. It's the adoption and the expansion of all these on-ramps and off-ramps is just moving around the world. And next, now this is exciting, folks, and I'm going to put it in perspective for you. One to watch. This is from X Lighting the Way. SLT is tokenizing. This is Smartlands. SLT is tokenizing student housing at universities in the UK. Recently listed on Bittrex. Acquired Shojin Financial Services, a London-based company that in 2017 received an investment license from British Financial Contact Authority. The use cases are limitless. Folks, let's put this in perspective. People make investments oftentimes, especially in real estate, based on things they know and things that are in their geography and things that they have some kind of an affiliation with. I went to Auburn University. This football at Auburn University is one of the biggest things that there is. Do you have any idea how many people would make an investment in Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is where Auburn plays football, if someone came along and went to one of these firms and cut a deal, like Auburn University went to a tokenization platform and said, we want to tokenize Jordan-Hare Stadium, and then we're going to trade it on exchanges around the world. They could tokenize that and they could sell that tokenization out in a day, probably a half a day. And people like myself would buy some of those digital assets. You are literally about to enter a world that you don't recognize that is going to make life so much more, investing life so much more exciting. And when it happens, XRP is going to be there side by side with these. XRP, as well as some of these digital assets I talk about, is going to be traded side by side. Cardano could be a platform that tokenizes Jordan-Hare Stadium. Or, just to give you a little history, my first year at Auburn University, I lived in a dorm right here, Harper Residence Hall. That is where I lived. I haven't clicked on one of these yet. I want to see what happens when I do. This is where I lived, right here, folks. I can remember walking in and out of that door many, many times. And in fact, I got in trouble many a time in that dorm from playing pranks and doing things like that when I was in college. Brings back some memories. I would buy tokens in Harper Hall. But the point is that imagine a world, folks, where things that mean something to you, or just things that are in your locality, you can all of a sudden invest in. And it doesn't just have to be real estate. It could be airplanes or anything. Who knows? It could be, who knows what they're going to do with these timeshares when tokenization hits the timeshare market. Who knows? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that we could even tokenize the digital asset investor's dorm from college. Thank you for listening.